for blessing us today with your musical gifts. Welcome. Welcome to the Unity of North Spokane. My name is Kimmy Beslow, and today I just want you to take a nice big breath and just be here with us today, just for this short little time, and welcoming all the new people, and just let's become one. And our mission is to touch hearts and transform lives through the power of unconditional love and acceptance. We embody a spiritual community that emphasizes on personal growth, living consciously, and making positive differences in the world. And if you'd like to join me in our opening affirmation, there is only one power, one presence active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Let that in. The oneness of all of us, one. So, today's talk with our spiritual leader, Jeff Tawney, is puppy training the ego. That sounds fun. And then my friend, my dear, dear friend, Aurora's going to read the daily word for us.
Today's daily word is flow. The words I speak flow from infinite wisdom. As I picture a crystal clear stream rushing down a steep mountain slope, I also see it gathering in still pools, calm, deep, and life-giving. This image reminds me that my words and actions flow from peace that passes understanding, nourished by a divine good. Open to this infinite presence, my heart is steady and my mind is focused. The words I speak and the choices I make become rich and meaningful. They are not surface ripples, but carry the depth and power of spiritual truth. As water flows from the mountaintops to coastlines, the presence of spirit flows into every part of my life. Divine love pours into human experience. I am both the rushing waters and the deep pools, and from this stream of wisdom, I speak words that give life. Proverbs 18:4, the words of the mouth are deep waters, the fountains of wisdom is a gushing stream.
Thank you. Okay, and next we want to welcome all our new people. So if you're new to here, or this is your first time, will you raise your hand? Okay, so next is greet your neighbor. So I'm going to invite you to stand up and whether you give a hug, a fist bump, say hello. We'll just take this time. Okay. We're going to come back to our seats. And please stay standing. We're going to sing a community song.
Love surround you, peace surround you, angels surround you every day, all day long. Morning, noon, and night, you are surrounded by the light. Love surround you, peace surround you, angels surround you every day, all day long. Morning, noon, and night, you are surrounded by the light. You are surrounded by the light, light of God, the light of peace, the light of love. You are surrounded by the light, light of God, the light of peace, the light of love. Love surround you, peace surround you, angels surround you every day, all day long. Morning, noon, and night, you are surrounded by the light. Love surround you, peace surround you, angels surround you every day, all day long. Morning, noon, and night, you are surrounded by the light. You are surrounded by the light of God, the light of peace, the light of love. You are surrounded by the light of God, the light of peace, the light of love.
I want to, Astrika, she messaged me this morning, said she would be here, and she's very reliable. And I know she travels a long ways. So I just want to hold intention that everything's good, everything's positive, and for whatever reason,
She said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to make it.
okay, all right.
So she's safe.
She's safe. All right. Intention held. All right, so let's we go into our time of meditation. And if we can all just take a deep collective breath together and release. Let's imagine that this space that we call unity, that this community is a large sandbox. And we enter into this space for fun, for connection, for creation, for play. We trust in the higher good in each one of us and the intention of this space. We trust in the Creator and the connection that we have that gives us all that we need. All the sand that we need to play in, all of the toys and the tools that we need to have fun. Just imagine your hands, sifting your hands through the sand and feeling them, all of the grains as they slip through your fingers. Recognizing that we don't own anything. It's all there for our enjoyment. We care for it. We sense it. We use it. Just feel what it's like to have the sand on your feet. Between your toes. Those sensations that we've all felt at some point in our lives. And as we exchange with one another, share the toys and the tools, the give and the take. It's all part of the experience. And as we come here in this place, there is give and receive. There is joy. There is play. There is presence. We don't own anything here. We simply are stewards of it. May we be mindful of that. May we always be welcoming new people into this community, new faces, new friends, new connections. Divine light, divine spirit, who I call God. We thank you for this opportunity that we have and the stewardship that you provide us, the opportunity for stewardship here. We thank you for the curious. We thank you for the hurting. We thank you for the broken. Because we all find connection. Thank you for this space, and thank you for this place. Let our time be blessed and rich here. Again, let's take a deep centering breath together. And release. And so it is. Well, good morning, everyone. I want to give some shout-outs because, how'd that get advanced? Was that the first slide in there? Okay. Something's out of order then, but that's okay. I do want to shout out to our friend and missing, he's kind of missing right now, and that's Larry Gaynor. Larry is recovering at home, and I've been in connection with Terry, and he's doing well. He's just kind of recovering from, he had partial pneumonia at 97 years old. Like, that's a hard thing. But anyways, I want to shout out to Larry. I want to shout out to Lloyd and Susan, who I have been watching us and are still part of this community. I want to shout out to Harlan and Rebecca, who are traveling to the west side today, and safe travels there. And shout out to Joy, who's also been staying connected with us online. And if you're out there and you are wanting to stay connected, feel free to email me and let us know how you're doing. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to just stay connected. Yeah, so the first slide up there, I'm told there was a really good movie on Friday. I might have missed a little bit of it here and there. The long week kind of got me, but I was really in contemplation, deep contemplation of what was going on, being triggered by my puberty, all of that. If you weren't here, we watched the movie Inside Out 2. And to appreciate Inside Out 2, you watch Inside Out 1 and you recognize like there's the very basics of emotions and things. And then puberty hits and everything changes. And I thought the filmmakers did a wonderful job in capturing that and the chaos that ensues. So that was really good. It was a lot of fun. And I'm trying something new here, in that in my quest to try to be a better steward of the environment, I'm trying to go paperless. And so rather than printing out 20 or 30 pages to prepare for my talk, I got it all on my iPad. So just bear with me. If I stutter a little bit, it's only because something's hanging up and not making sense there. I want to shout out and give recognition to Dana and Marilyn for last Sunday's Mother's Day talk. I have received many very warm and touching feedback on what you guys provided. And so thank you so much for what you've put into that. And Marilyn, I'm so proud of you. For someone that has never been comfortable, right? And people like you and Kimmy and others that come to me and say, I want to do something in this center, but I don't know what it is, but I don't want to do that. Only to say, well, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should stretch myself. Maybe I should do something that I'm not used to doing. And so we honor that sacred decision and that desire of yours. So thank you. I know you like to be behind the scenes, and you're probably extremely uncomfortable with me doing this to you right now, but it's worth shouting out to you. So thank you. Then we had movie night, and then the next thing here is yesterday. We did Forest of Frames, and what used to be known as Brush on the Bluff. It was amazing, even though it was cold and it was windy and there was rain here and there. We really had a good time, and I want to thank Julie through her connections with the Brush on the Bluff people for getting us a free booth. So we had the opportunity to be out there for nothing other than what we bought for having a kids craft. So thank you, special shout out to you for making that available to us. I also want to shout out John Crabtree, Melissa and Rhiannon, Rhiannon, thank you. And Brandy was also there helping us too. We had a lot of fun with the kids. What we did is we had rocks, which ironically, everybody was commenting, did I go out and find these rocks? And when we looked on the label, the packaging that I bought from China, from Amazon, the rocks came from China. And so that was really kind of like, wow. So we just imported rocks into Spokane where we have nothing but rock from China. But anyways, that's a whole different story. But the kids had a wonderful time with the pens and creating, and it was just so beautiful to interact with so many different people. And I had a connection that came out of the blue. As with everything, and we talk about the reading that was the daily word today, talking about flow and synchronicity. And so there's a couple of girls that come up that I'm not sure, I think Melissa was talking to them. Melissa was talking to them. And the one lady looks at me and she goes, you look familiar. And I go, oh, exchange back and forth. She says, no, it's none of those. She says, there's an individual that I know from California. I went, oh, because I'm from California. And she says, he's from Fresno. What? And she says, Todd Minturn. Well, as it turns out, when I had to move from California to here, I was just finished my first year in a 2-year cohort for becoming licensed to be a spiritual direction, doing spiritual direction. And I had to walk away from that to come up here for my son and all that. And then when I tried to re-enroll in a spiritual direction up here, it was like 5-year waiting list and $5,000 or whatever. So I was like, well, I'm just going to put all that on hold. But I want to recognize Sarah, because Sarah said, I said, well, are you from Fresno? How do you know Todd? No, Todd helped me and my husband at a time when we were really going through loss of a child and all of that. And what an amazing connection. Like, I sat there just floored because I didn't know her, but yet she said, Todd told me to seek you out, that I should look for you. And I haven't talked to Todd in 7 or 8 years. I mean, I see him on Facebook, right? Facebook's good for some things. I see him on Facebook, but we never talk. And so to have that connection and to have those opportunities with people is just, it's amazing to me. And it just keeps re-emphasizing this that we're in, this connection, all of this. And so, and there's been multiple things happening like that for me in the last couple of weeks. So anyways, I want to shout out to them. I want to shout out to Lucy and Ron and some others. So thank you all. And I will tell you also that one of the things that I heard about our center is we're very friendly. People don't walk in the door and don't get noticed or don't get welcomed. And I'm proud of that, because I've heard that people go to other places and been there 3 times already, and no one's ever greeted me. And so I'm very proud of what we're creating in the sandbox, right? You want to come play? Here's a bucket, here's a shovel. So anyways, okay, so hopefully this doesn't put Byron and Grace into PTSD, because they have kindly adopted my puppy Bindi. Will actually be a year old here coming up, or she is a year old actually. But I learned that trying to puppy train at 68 years old, and with as busy as I am, it wasn't a good idea. So I gifted her to Byron and Grace, and they've been taking that on. And I hear the stories of you never know, or the scratch, or whatever. But anyways, so I hope this doesn't send you guys into a whole, PTSD and all that sort of thing. But most spiritual teaching suggests that eliminating, we're talking about the ego, okay? Puppy training the ego. Most teachings suggest that we eliminate, defeat, silence, or transcend the ego. The Buddhists call the ego the hungry ghost, always seeking more. But in today's world, we see egos exaggerated. We see exposure, so much excessive exposure to the ego, when too much is offensive and sickening and overwhelming. The ego separates and the spirit connects. The ego separates what the spirit wants to see: beauty, harmony, peace, connectivity, and life. However, what if the ego isn't this monstrous thing and is actually an untrained puppy? Now, a couple weeks ago, I was listening to a podcast in which the podcaster had Sonia Troquette on. And one of the things that Sonia said, which just struck with me, she says, the ego, instead of fighting the ego and treating and wanting, instead of fighting the ego, treat the ego like a barking dog. A companion that doesn't need to be destroyed. It just needs to be trained. It just needs to be educated. So she said that a puppy isn't inherently evil. It's energetic, it's reactive, it's needy, impulsive, fearful, attention-seeking, occasionally destructive. It lacks the knowledge and the skills to coexist harmoniously. Similarly, the ego serves a purpose. It protects us, it defines us, it helps us navigate the world. But when it's untrained, the ego becomes unruly, damaging. It damages relationships. It's panicking at uncertainty and discomfort. The spiritual path isn't about eliminating the ego. It's about loving it and training it. The ego's job is survival. It protects, defines, helps to navigate, etc. So, if we were to treat the ego as a puppy, let's look at the differences here. An untrained puppy jumps on guests. We know that one. Reacts impulsively, grabs things that shouldn't, becomes anxious when left alone. That every noise is a threat, becomes and barks for attention. An untrained ego does the same thing. They didn't text me back, right? There's danger. Someone disagreed with me. I was attacked. I feel uncomfortable. I need to escape. I'm not being validated. Panic or abandonment. And I make a mistake, and it equals shame. The ego puppy is constantly pulling on the leash of consciousness. Constantly pulling and testing our boundaries. So, the ego is the voice of fear. It operates by judging, comparing, blaming, controlling, hiding guilt. It's constantly saying, you're not enough, you're not safe, or you're on your own. The Everett's, in the book study that a few of us went through called The Ego's Playbook, and it's based on the ego, but also it uses a lot of the principles and understandings and trainings and that sort of thing through A Course in Miracles. And the author, Pam Grout, outlines the ego strategy this way. And see how many of these you recognize. The comparison game, measuring worth against others, or the victim story. This always happens to me. Or how about the control freak, trying to micromanage outcomes? Or the fear forecast, assuming the worst will happen? Or the inner critic, shaming as a motivator? And the spoiler is it doesn't work. What I've always referred to as my Boy Scout. You all know that I talk about at times about if I go camping, I'm the guy that's got everything, right? Because I'm the Boy Scout, I want to think of everything. But I realized through this that that's not coming from a place of service to others. It's coming from a place of avoiding shame. Because if someone were to come to me, if I were to recognize I don't have a can opener, oh my gosh, how could I forget a can opener? I got cans. How do I not have an opener? And now I have to go grovel to somebody, and knock on their tin and, do you have a can opener I can borrow? And then I'm expecting, oh, you don't have a can opener? How could you not have a can opener? So I realized, as I started looking at this Boy Scout thing in me, and the other part of that is I also planning for failure. So I must have everything in my toolbox. I got to have everything. Because if I get to the job site and I don't have it, oh my gosh, the client's would judge me. Like, well, how can you be a finish carpenter and not have your hammer or whatever it is, right? So it wasn't coming. This Boy Scout mentality wasn't coming from this place of really wanting to be prepared. It was really coming from this fear of not wanting to be judged. How about potty training the ego? Did we lose a... How about potty training the ego? There we go. The ego has emotional outbursts defensiveness, jealousy, gossip, control, people-pleasing, fear reactions, victim thinking. Spiritual growth is realizing, oops, the ego just peed on the carpet. It made a boo-boo. We just need to clean it up. Shame does not train the puppy. I learned that one. Shame does not train the puppy. You know what trains a puppy? Consistency. If you're going to put it outside, you put it outside all the time, right? And usually when something happens, it's because we broke the consistency. And so the idea is that we recognize that if something happens, it could be because we weren't consistent with something, or something wasn't aware to us. And it's like, okay, put that on my list of things to check before I leave the house. Many people think that spiritual growth means never reacting again. Wrong. Growth means noticing things faster. It means cleaning up quicker. It means responding more lovingly and returning to center sooner. A good dog trainer does not scream, "You ruined everything." Instead, they redirect. Outside. Let's go outside. One of the things I've always appreciated about Julie and the way that she works with kids is where I would lose my patience, or many of us would lose our patience. She has this way of redirecting people, redirecting the kids to doing something different, right? Like, okay, they're focused on this. How do I redirect it over here? It's an amazing thing to watch happen. And Spirit speaks the same to us. Spirit says, don't notice that. Notice this over here. And sometimes we have to project trust, but just stay more vigilant, right? So when something happens and the dog, let's say, a month or so ago, Grace sends me a picture of so I trained Bindi to be in the crate. They don't crate train. They're like, well, no, we don't really want to. Our other dog doesn't crate. So they've been trying to train her to be out of the crate. And I'm in the back of my mind going, good luck with that. So Grace sends me a picture a couple of weeks ago that Byron got home and the planter was knocked over and there was dirt and stuff all over the place. And so, crate training? But it doesn't mean the dog's a bad dog. It just means I got to be a little more vigilant on what and how we do that, right? Maybe we bring the crate back out, I don't know. But I also know, maybe I got to be a little more vigilant of what is accessible to the dog or how much time away I am, because the dog isn't quite trustworthy yet. And the same goes for our ego. The same goes for situations where we react to something where we react to something that's happened, and we've got to find a way back into. We've all been in situations where we've done something, we've been completely embarrassed and go, not going back there again, I'm never going to show my face. But what if there was a place where we said, you're always welcome back? The ego, like a puppy, needs exercise. The ego also stores energy like a puppy. If a puppy never runs, never plays, never releases energy, it begins chewing on furniture. The ego also stores energy: stress, fear, unprocessed emotions, resentment, anxiety. And then it eventually chews through relationships, peace, sleep, community, and health. Sometimes the egos act out simply because it's exhausted, dysregulated, or disconnected. And that is why spiritual practices make a difference, why they matter. Prayer, meditation, breath work, silence, movement, journaling, honest conversation. These are all healthy walks for the ego puppy. You cannot spiritually bypass nervous system regulation. Sometimes the most spiritual thing that you can do for yourself is rest, breathe, hydrate, go outside. Stop doom scrolling. Take the puppy for a walk. I grew up, as I've shared, I grew up evangelical. I grew up in a church environment, and in that practice, in that environment, if you were having emotional issues or things, you just needed to go pray about it. Just go pray about it. Just go pray about it. And there was never, ever anything that taught me how to regulate my emotions. How do I do this? I can pray about it, but if I can't tell you, and I was just sharing this where somebody was sharing this and I thought I was like, am I listening to myself 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Actually, now that it was a Paul Young podcast, and he was interviewing his grandson about his grandson's struggle with pornography. And Paul Young, now if you know Paul Young, William Paul Young is the writer of the book of The Shack, right? And so he's talking to his grandson, and the grandson says, yeah, just going up and praying about it. Everybody says, I just need to pray about it, and pray about it is going to take care of it, but it's still there. All of that tension is still there. And my point in this is that, and as I've said, if we can't do this, we can't do this. And I mean that in that if I can't be in community, if I can't regulate and stay in community and have these difficult conversations, this is going to suffer. Okay, guess what? I don't want that. I want to be in that community. I'll go someplace else. And you never get this taken care of because you're too busy trying to be in this unregulated state. The next thing, how an ego is like a puppy, is the ego barks at everything. The ego barks at criticism, change, diversity, uncertainty, different beliefs, emotional intimacy, vulnerability, and silence. The ego says if something is unfamiliar, it must be dangerous. How many of us could identify with that, or maybe have identified with that in the past? Spiritual maturity teaches us that discernment spiritual discernment teaches instead of reaction. In other words, not every thought deserves a bark. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every thought means that we have to capture it and hold on to it. They could just be a thought. And we just allow those thoughts to flow, to just pass through us and on down the stream. Sometimes the spiritual path is simply learning that I don't need to react to everything. Every noise. And I love hearing, no, Wendy, it's all right. I'm not complaining about that. The fact that we're hearing noise out there means that there are kids in this building. And that's what we want. I'm fine with the kids' noise because it's a reminder of the times that we were here where we didn't have kids. So thank you. Let me tell you what. When I was awake on Friday night, when I was awake, these kids were all right here, all together. And what was so beautiful was Talia. I've shared this with you guys. The littlest one, what's his name? Carson? Carson. Carson he bumped his head on the chair, and he started to cry. How old's Talia? 11? Talia takes this little boy, puts her into her arms, and she just starts rocking him and telling him he's okay. Where did she learn that? Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful just to see that, and we get to experience those things in this sandbox, in this community. Then there's the leash of awareness. The leash of awareness is that when a puppy is off leash, what can happen? They can run into traffic, they can get themselves hurt. The ego without awareness can destroy a life. Awareness is the leash. Not control through force, but connection through consciousness. The leash says, I see you. The leash says, I know you're scared. The leash says, but you are not leading right now. I am. I had a yellow lab for, now, there was wisdom when I bought the yellow lab because I bought her at 2 years old and she'd been fully trained. So that was my mindset when I got a puppy. I did not make this connection of I thought I could, but I couldn't. And when I got Misha, then we started working together. And that dog was better off leash than any dog I've ever seen on the leash. I would walk and she'd be right there. I could take her into Home Depot and she'd be right there with me. Everywhere I went, she'd be right there. And if I went into that door at Home Depot, she's in the back of the truck just waiting. And sometimes I'd come out that door and get up to the truck and then she'd see me. The thing is that once she was understanding of what the leash was for and the purpose of that leash, then she recognized what her boundaries were. And that all I had to do is give her a command, heel, and she'd be right at my heel. This is what meditation provides us, is that opportunity to feel that leash and to know when we've kind of extended beyond what our consciousness is capable of. It's not the eliminations of thought, but it's the ability to stop chasing every squirrel, every ball that the ego sees. And then the puppy learns to trust. The puppy is eventually a well-loved puppy and begins to relax. It realizes it is safe, it is cared for. It does not need to guard everything. It does not need to panic constantly. There's help. There's hope coming for Byron and Grace. When we connect with divine presence, fear softens, comparison fades, defensiveness loosens, urgency quiets itself. The ego stops fighting for survival when it trusts the soul is being guided by something greater. In unity teachings, we understand that we are not our ego, that we are divine awareness, observing the ego and holding the leash. That we are not our thoughts. That the true self is the calm owner, while the ego is the puppy learning to trust. The issue arises when the puppy reassumes the role of master. As I've said, that if we can't do this, if we don't learn this, then our connection to God is going to suffer. And when our connection to God and Spirit suffers, then this suffers. We are in a state right now, in our city, in our country, in our world, where people's emotions and abilities to regulate are out of control. Because we don't know. I think it's been areas that we've been so focused on what other countries are doing, or what this person's doing, or what this class of people is doing, or what this organization is doing, that we've completely lost the most important thing that got us there, and that's this human connection. So how do we do that? The unity movement was not a religious or a church movement. It was a spiritual movement. And the idea in the early days of unity was that you go to your church, you go to your respective church, and in the afternoon or the evening you come to unity and you would all get together. And you would share these truths that you're learning. Not by comparison, but just from an understanding. And there's a part of me that is wondering, is that our role? Have we become too much of a church and that we really need to go back to looking at being a movement, and how do we bring, it's not about having more members, it's about having more understanding, it's about more connection. I really believe that what we do and the ripples effect are going to change this community, and that changes the world. On the 31st, the last Sunday of this month, we'll have our contemplative service, and we're going to be sharing, a couple of us have stories about connection, of how we're connected. And it was really interesting that there's this theme been going on with me for the last couple of weeks about how everything is connected. And one of the ladies, one of the trees, pictures that the lady was drawing was basically not where everybody's drawn the trees and the bushes and plants. She's drawing below that, the roots, and how everything is connected. And the connection that goes on, and she even has like something written. I told her, I gave her my card and I said, please email me this when it's done because I want to see, what the finished product. But the idea is that we are all interconnected. And if you think we're not, I challenge you. We may make mistakes, but that doesn't mean you're not welcome here. I fight for inclusion, and I know you do too. It's something we've, it's interesting. When I look at some of the conflicts that we've had in the center, none of it has been because of church or has been because of spiritual issues. It's all been emotional issues. It's all been disappointment. It's all been conflict that we can't regulate. How do we see one another? That's where the work is, and that's our opportunity. So anyways, there's going to be more conversation about this ego idea and how do other things and how do we regulate. Because the ego, whether we like it or not, makes up a great portion of our identity. And it leads us into places that we look back on and go, how did I ever get over here? With that, I thank you. I thank you guys for being here. I thank you for the visitors that are here. Thank you. Stay curious and be the blessing.
When Jeff said that he was going to do this talk on training the ego, this song came to my mind because I think it's a good reminder to come back to peace. Om Shanti is a word that's repeated often in this song, and it's a Sanskrit word that means universal peace. So as we sing that, the ego, it's there and it raises up, and it's the opposite of peaceful. So I would just like to offer this song and invite you to sing. You don't need to stand, but the words are there. And if you feel led to sing, then join with us. Still my mind, at peace in my awakening. I release with my heart, free my soul in my awakening. I am whole. Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. As I love, as I give in my own way. Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. All I believe and all I know in my awakening, I let go. Fill me with hope, conquer my fear in my awakening. My peace is here. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om.
Thank you. I love Carl Anthony. In my church in Seattle, we used to actually get blessed by him frequently, which was just lovely. Okay, so thank you, Jeff, for your talk. Training the ego. Have any of us ever needed that? Right. Right. We're all work in progress. So, it is time for your love offering. And I am going to invite you to bring your gift to your heart or your little card. And just bless it. Bless it and know that it multiplies above and beyond. The ushers will come forward. Now, if you'd like to join me in our love offering, prayer, and blessings. Divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Okay, so prayer requests. We have a prayer box over here, and you can put your prayers in there. There is prayer requests also in the backs of your seat, and they will be prayed upon for 30 days here and 30 days in unity, silent unity. And so if you have that, if you have any questions, just come up to us and ask. And join with me this statement of peace. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is only one power, one presence of God, and that God loves each and equally. Unity urges all nations, their leaders, their people, to pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors the God of all of our faith traditions. Thank you. Okay, and then will come announcements, but first I want to make sure that we'll do announcements first, sorry. I was just testing Byron. Okay, so Language of Life Restorative Circles are going to be the third Sunday of the month from 1:30 to 3 p.m., which is today, and that happens here or in the classroom?
Yep. And just so people know what this is based on the Nonviolent Communication book and work by Marshall Rosenberg. And this is part of how do we learn to play in the sandbox? How do we have the conversations? What is someone really saying as a part of this dialogue that we're having? So we have some of us have read through the book of Nonviolent Communication, and this is our opportunity to kind of come together and have a conversation. And maybe you've got a difficult conversation coming up that you want to help kind of play out. Or maybe you've had a difficult conversation and you're trying to understand what it's like working through that. This is our opportunity to that. So we gather here and we'll probably most likely be in the kids' room. Turn my mic on. Okay. So we will probably be in the kids' room because it's smaller and a little more intimate, and then also allows for some sharing and that sort of thing. So I totally invite you, even if you haven't read the book, come and join us because it's a really good exercise. It's just, I don't know, you call it a support group, whatever you want to call it, but it's just a way for us to exercise and practice those skills that we're learning, because this is our opportunity to do that here. When we go out there, it's kind of like this is the training camp and that's the game. And so we have the opportunity here to practice those things. And if we make a mistake, we make a mistake, but we do that. So while I'm here, before you get to the next one, I don't know okay, that's you, so that's fine. I want to introduce Bailey over here. Bailey, stand up. Bailey is with Ellis Media, and she's our new photographer, videographer, all of that, right? So Bailey, you may see Bailey here occasionally coming in and taking pictures, and part of that is for the promotional work that we're doing. If you see her and you don't want your picture taken, make sure you let her know. Don't take my picture. Don't include me, so she knows. For some of you, I've reached out to about doing an interview because we're going to be doing some testimonials online. That is Bailey. That's who you're going to be talking to. So whether she's able to meet with you here or able to meet or talk or whatever, that is Bailey. And so I just want to make sure everybody knows Bailey. We had a wonderful chat last week, and a lot of good stuff. So excited to have Bailey here.
Okay, energy tune-ups are on the fourth Sunday of every month. The next one's the 24th with me. And that is just like a little mini energy tune-up, like a little mini Reiki session. And that all donations go to the church. And Alternatives to Violence Project workshop, 2 Fridays. Talk more about that.
So this is another part of the things that we're doing here as far as helping us gain awareness, understanding, difficult conversations. The AVP workshop there's 2 days, 2 Fridays, all day. And it's not the kind of workshop where you're sitting behind a desk taking notes. This is, we sit in a circle and we do active participation, and it's a lot of fun. I've done this basic class, and then I've done 2 other classes which now qualify me to be a facilitator. Not that I know what I'm doing, because I always turn to Dana, but it's a lot of fun. Julie has done it as well, and this is an opportunity for you to participate in this. We'll be doing these ongoing. So if you're not able to make this one, there'll be more coming. But the idea is that as we learn these and practices, we're able to take this into the field. So AVP is now, it's been taught in prisons for many, many years. 50 years. 50 years they've been going into the prisons and working with prisoners on how do we not like throw down and go down, but how do we just have conversation and recognize my tats don't make me who I am, or whatever that looks like. And the schools are now, there's a couple of schools that are looking at doing this at certain age groups coming in. How do we have conversation? This is a part of what the healing that we need in this world, right? And so AVP is a thing that we do to do that. If money's an issue, don't let that be an issue. Participate. We'll get it covered.
Okay. Great. One more announcement. I just want to say that I am doing a class starting next month. We haven't started bringing out a lot of advertisement about it. And it's going to be 3 Mondays, starts on the June 15th, and it's going to be about awakening your intuition and energetic boundaries and how to work with all that and be an energy being in this human body we all have. So, okay, we're going to bring out the kids. Let's go, Wendy. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. What'd you guys make? Oh my goodness, I love it. I know, I see yours too. Do you want to tell me more about it?
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you going to do with it?
I know.
Want to feed birds? You want to talk? Tell us your name. What's your name? What's your name? No?
Carson.
Carson?
Say Carson.
He's in. You want to tell us what you learned? What'd you do?
We made bird feeders and we went outside and collected our own pine cones and we meditated.
Meditated. What'd you get from your meditation?
Mindfulness, and we miniaturized ourselves and got on a hummingbird.
Ooh, lovely. Did you fly?
Yeah.
Nice. That's our next meditation. Okay, thank you. Okay, so join with me at the youth blessing. Be the love that you are. Sing the song you hear. Share your joy of life with people far and near. And for ourselves, be the love we are. Sing the song we hear. Share our joy of life with people far and near. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Brandy and Tracy. Go take it to Grandma or Mom. Yeah. Join us for the peace song. We're going to hold hands.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be my moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To link each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I am the light of God, the love and flow that folds us. I am the love of God, the power of God protects us. I am the power of God, presence of the Almighty. I am the power. In my awakening.